What up? It's your boy AP once again with another video. I left off yesterday with trying to remember the third part, but I'm just gonna forget about that part because I was reading the introduction. It was like the introduction of the book I was reading, and I'm just gonna start off with the regular chapter, and I got the chance again to read a little bit more, jot down some ideas that I thought were very, useful and interesting, for any of you guys out there, and yeah, we're gonna go back again to the fear. There's like a great there's so much to learn about the subject, the concept of fear. And let's see, I hope you guys can have a little bit of patience with me. I wrote down some things. I don't even know where to start off. But yeah, we know, like, we talked a little bit about fear last time, and it kills dreams. You want to do something, it kills dreams. We already know that. Yeah, let's talk about a relative of fear, which is paranoia, right? Paranoia is it's not always bad, It's bad because it sucks because you're just you don't feel great. You're just looking over your shoulder. Danger lurks in the darkness. But as right here, 50 Cent in his book, I think it's called Hustle Harder or Hustle Smarter, something like that. I gotta look back into it. And it sharpens your senses, when you're paranoid, you pay more attention to, like, what's going on. An example is here in 50 Cent's book. He explains how we all know the famous story of him getting shot 9 times. But after it, and he was talking about, like, again, fear. He was afraid of them people still being out there. They're still free. They know he's alive. They could come back anytime and finish the job. So he did fear off that. But since he was in fear, he was paranoid as well. And that sharpened his senses. It just puts you up. You're more aware of the possibilities of danger. People with bad intentions, people trying to bamboozle you, outwit you. So it does fear and that little relationship with paranoia is pretty good. He gives an example of antelope. When the antelope is in Africa, when he's in Africa and his senses give off a warning that there's a lion a couple hundred yards away, or it allows us to escape and be aware of our dangerous environment. And that's what 50 Cent talks about in the relationship with fear and paranoia. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, I like this one right here. This one spoke a lot to me. It spoke a lot. It was it says one of his quotes. It says, fear can cause you to spend a lifetime of avoiding intimacy and love. And yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. One of the most fears that we have as a male or a female, in whatever age range that we are in, is love and intimacy. We're afraid of rejection by someone that we actually like and that we're actually attracted to, someone that we're actually trying to make something actually happen, instead of just a regular girl that you just meet at a party. Or that can also give you fear, even though you're not even, maybe you're just trying to have a fun time, you don't even know how to say it, and you could lose out on having a fun time, or lose out on having a genuine relationship with someone that you really like. But the quote is, if you fear failure, you can stop taking risks. And I was kind of like, I had to think about that. If you fear failure, like I'm afraid of not having money. I'm afraid of not being able to provide for myself, or to be able to help out my loved ones, my friends. If I were to have kids, I would be afraid not to be able to provide for them. So, oh man, my lights went off. Hold up, y'all. Let me get some of them Friday night lights on. There we go. See how long that shit. I mean, we'll see how long that lasts. Yeah. So if you're afraid of, I think I also heard Kendrick Lamar in the Damn album. I don't know if it was like 2017. Probably 2017. He's like, I'm fear of being broke again. I'm fearful of going back to Section 8 with his mother stressing. And I think we can all relate to that, being broke. Many people have been broke multiple times. They just don't let you know all the time, because it's nothing to be proud of. Maybe also nothing to be ashamed about, because it's just a part of life. But like, I was afraid of, just failure, not just being stuck in one place. And I had to take that. You have to take a risk. You have to take a risk. Like my parents, right? They're from Mexico, and they wanted a better life for themselves, for their kids. Maybe make a little bit of money, because out there in Mexico, it's difficult to make money. It's cheaper. Things are cheaper. That's true, but it's extremely harder to make money over there than compared to here in America. Even though it's not easy here either. But there's more chances and opportunities. That's why so many people leave their countries and come to the United States or go to Europe to make something happen, because in our home countries it's more difficult to make things happen. So you take a risk, right? As Mexicans, we cross the border. Some of us have to go through the California, Arizona side. Some of us have to go through the Texas side, the Rio Grande, where many people have lost their lives. But people are willing to risk it in order to improve their life, their situation. Like people from Central America, some of them have seen like documentaries where there's gang infested, like El Salvador, right? There's a whole bunch of gangs, a whole bunch of crime. They've already killed your brother, they've already killed your little brother. They're trying to, like, I don't know, they probably raped your sister, your cousin, your female cousin, and they want to get you next, right? So let's say if I was in that situation, they already killed a lot of my family members, and they want me next. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna stay there and fail? Now that's an extreme example, but I'm just saying, going to the extreme. I might go to a more simple one. So what am I to do? Risk? I'm gonna risk it going through Mexico, where I'm not wanted, or I could get robbed, killed, whatever, beaten up, and then I have to make it through the border in the U.S. I have to risk it. I risk leaving my hometown, leaving, going to a whole different country that doesn't want me there. Does it a lot? They do a lot of their power to make it impossible for immigrants. They don't give us jobs. We have to find something to make it happen. But at the very end, next thing you know, you start a family here. You have children here. Your children are prospering. They're getting a good education. They're not in danger of living in a dangerous neighborhood where their lives are at stake. And your kids go to college. They go to, you don't know, maybe some of the best colleges, great colleges. They end up being professionals, and you could have never have been able to do that if you didn't risk it. Now that's an extreme example right there, but risk is like, yo, I need to make it across the country for this job, and my car is a bucket. And if you don't know what a bucket is, it's just a beaten up car that you don't know if it's gonna leave you on the street. It could leave you out in the middle of nowhere. The gasket could go out, but you're gonna make that risk to make it to wherever your destination is for a better job, for a place where the housing is more affordable and maybe it's less chaotic. A risk, you're making a risk. You're sacrificing your comfortability. You know the streets, the people, you have a home, your people are there, but you want to make a risk to improve. So yeah, that's risking it. And what lives on the other side of fear isn't danger or even death, but freedom. That's not my words. That's just what I wrote from the book. So don't be thinking that I'm making this stuff up. I read it in the book. I liked it. What lives on the other side of fear isn't danger or even death, but freedom. So now I'm gonna talk about two situations. I'm gonna put these notes. I wrote a lot of notes, a couple pages, but I'm not gonna get into all of them because it's too much. But I'm gonna talk about two examples of what was in the book. Forgive me for stuttering and taking long pauses. It's just I'm trying to think what I'm gonna say, and I can't recall everything what I wrote down, and not that very good at talking either. But so one example of 50 with not fearing is when he was a kid, 12 years old. He never really liked playing sports, baseball, basketball, none of that, because he would always call out the person that messed up the foul, or I don't know, drop the pass or anything, and he'd get frustrated with the teammate and he'd call him out. And it wasn't that 50 was trying to avoid responsibility or call out his mistakes. He mentions that he would have been the first person to call himself out, but he couldn't stand a sport that had to rely on other people. If 50 was gonna bet if 50 was gonna bet on someone, he was gonna bet on himself, because he knew that he was gonna give it his all and not depend and rely on other people who were not. And so he knew that at a young age, he knew that sports teams, like team sports, wasn't his thing, because he knew that other people weren't going to put the same effort or work that he was going to put in, or what he was capable of. So so he decided a great sport was going to be boxing, because that all depends on you and only you, right? What you put in the ring is what you give out yourself. You could either half-ass it or you could give it all you got. So boxing is a great sport for someone like that type of mentality, that relies on oneself. And one day there was a local gym in his neighborhood, ran by somebody named what was his name? Allah Understanding. It was probably like a nickname. I'm not sure if it was a real name. And he got 50 Cent into the gym. They started working out, and 50 was one of the youngest training in that gym. And he had a spar, he had a fight with kids that were a bit older, but since 50 was heavier for the age that he was going up against guys that were bigger than him. Now maybe a few years, a few pounds, maybe like what, maybe 15, 16, 17. Doesn't seem that far off, but when it comes to sports and a way, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. And one day, these street guys from his neighborhood come through. A well-known street guys, one of just a very well-known drug crew that sells drugs in the neighborhood, and everyone knew them, had respect. Knew they were young kids. They were like probably like 18, 19, but they were already at that age, established and well respected in the neighborhood. So they come into the gym, and they start looking around, and what's it called? One of the guys starts throwing punches to the bag, and 50 says like, "Yo, you're not hitting it that hard," or you're something like that. And there's a words of exchange, a little bit of banter, a little bit of shit talking for a little kid. Turn around, who's this person? Who's this kid talking to us? Some real guys, some real street dudes that are established, and who won't hesitate to let a couple off on anybody for any reason. So they respected 50 because he had the balls to say something like, "Yo, you're not hitting it that hard. I could do a better job," something like that. And they liked that attitude. They could have easily whooped his ass in the gym, or much worse, but they respected him. Like, "Yo, here's this little kid talking shit. I like that shit." So they're like, "You know what? I have a feeling." The guy said, "I have a feeling that we're gonna get some champions out of this gym because these little kids ain't afraid to talk shit. To say something, put it down." So the street dudes, they have money, right? They got bread. They told the guys like, "Yo, whatever you guys need. This place looks a little bit, old, a little bit used up, dusty, rusty, whatever. Write whatever you guys need: new punching bags, new gloves, jump ropes, dumbbells, whatever you guys need for the gym. Write it down on a piece of paper, and within like a few days, a week or two, the whole gym was renovated. It had all new stuff in it. Some of the dumbbells were like from the 60s or something, but now they had brand new barbells and dumbbells and whatever a gym might need. So, that famous saying, a closed mouth doesn't get fed, So that was an example that I really liked, a scenario that 50 spoke about. Not being afraid. The other one was the famous story, the famous story where 50 got shot up 9 times, right, in front of his grandmother's house. He got shot up, street beef, ended up surviving it. He mentioned that, when you're getting shot, there's a lot of adrenaline in you, so you don't feel it that much. Of course, it still hurts. I never been shot. Hope I never get shot. That's just something I'm not trying to do ever in my lifetime. But, he got shot, And sorry, I lose my train of thought a lot, so I apologize for that. I'm just, what I'm saying, paranoid out here in this parking lot, Nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, I'd lose my train a lot. I don't really prepare, so I just off the dome. Apologize about that. You know what? I don't apologize. Yeah, it's real rap raw, homie. But anyways, he got shot. And, when the doctor said that you're going to make it, he starts mentioning that all the pain just starts coming in. The pain that you feel after getting shot is worse. 50 said he was more scared of going through that rehabilitation process, healing, than dying. So if you're getting shot up like that, and I can imagine it's just excruciating pain and time consuming to get back to where you were at, So 50, they told him that he was gonna have to start exercising, trying to get his body in shape. So they told him to do like running or cardio, and 50 was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get in shape, to get back into where I was, and nothing's gonna stop me. And so he gathered up his friends at his grandmother's place, and he told some of his closest friends, like, yo, I need help. I'm not trying to do this alone. I need help running around the neighborhood, my neighborhood, where I got shot up. And all of them agreed. They're like, we're going to be here tomorrow, whatever hour that he put on, 8 a.m. in the morning. Nobody showed up except one homie friend. One friend. I think his name was Halim. I think so. And he mentioned he wasn't the greatest candidate to be running around. It looked like he was in worse shape than 50 was. So, and he wasn't like the type of guy to, like, if a situation popped off, he wasn't the type of guy to go head on, guns out blazing, none of that. So I think this guy Halim was the type of person to avoid confrontation, do whatever it took to avoid violence or any problems. So 50 was kind of worried about that and him being able to keep up. So Halim grabbed a bike to keep up with 50. 50 grabbed a gun, a small gun. I'm not sure what type it was. Probably like a small caliber type of gun. Wrapped it around some cast, or I don't know, something, how he hid it, but in his hand, to hide it from people in public. Probably say he had a broken hand from boxing or something. I'm not sure. So they ran in a neighborhood. Where danger lurked, where his enemies were still out there, and they could have taken him out just walking around running in the neighborhood, right? Now, personally, I don't think I got the balls to go around there. If I get shot up like that, I don't know. It's pretty tough for me to do that. But for 50, he couldn't take that. He couldn't live with himself without confronting it head on. He could have done it in many ways, as he mentions in his book. He could have gone to a local gym. He could have bought a treadmill and ran in his grandmother's home. And he could have taken many different routes to avoid, the dangers. But fear bothers him. That's what he mentions. It bothers him. Fear, it just bothers him to know that he's fearful. So he can't live with that. So he has to take it on head on. And that's very admirable, maybe pretty, I'm not sure, dumb or very brave, to know that you're placing yourself in danger again. So nothing happened. 50 got back in shape, and he learned that that's just something that always bothered him being afraid. And I think that's very admirable. something that we can probably all strive to do so, right? If we're afraid to speak up, stand up. In another example, I'm going on pretty long, trying to wrap this one up quick too. Where he had a friend, right? He didn't mention who his name was, but he was very smart, had charisma, was a street dude, but made his way into the music business, and had everything, right? Had everything of this certain field area of business in the music industry. And 50 knew he had it. He had the skill, he had the charisma, he had the discipline. He studied the reports, the whatever it is, in order to have the information that the executives needed. But unfortunately, 50, they had a meeting, an important meeting, where he knew everything. He was an expert in the room. No one in the room knew more than him. This friend, we're going to name him probably like Jason, right? Let's just say Jason, even though that's not his name. Jason was the expert. He had it all. He was on the path to be a mogul. He was already on a pretty high level, right? Where many people would be happy with, like me. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be like, hey man, like, yeah man. So if I was like in a cool position, winning like what, like a couple 100,000, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But him, he aspired for more. He wanted to be a mogul. That wasn't enough. He wasn't satisfied with that, and that's perfect. That's excellent. But the thing that was holding him back was he was afraid to speak in a room full of executives. In a room full of... Hold up, my brother's calling. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to hang up the phone because I'm with y'all, because I love y'all. And I'm going to give you just a little bit more of my time to you because I love y'all. All right? But I'm trying to make this quick because this video went longer than I expected because of my stuttering and my loss of thought. So yeah, so Jason was an expert in a room full of executives, but that happens, just like Josh Allen in the Super Bowl. The lights were too bright, it was too cold, even though he's from Buffalo, right? He's been chilling in Buffalo for a few years, practicing, and the lights were just too bright. Had all the tools, all the weapons, just afraid, man, to perform at the biggest moment, at the most important moment. Some of us just lose out, That's just the way it happens. And the other guy, he's probably not as good as you. He probably didn't study as much as you did. But guess what? He's gonna raise his hand. He's gonna shout out an answer. He's going to participate. He's going to be active in the meeting. And the bosses, they take an eye. Oh, I took a mental note of this guy. He's participating. He's having an input in the meeting, being productive. Even though the answer is wrong, the guy's going to get noticed. And the guy that does that, even though it's wrong, is going to get promoted quicker than you if you're afraid and stay quiet. Is going to get an office quicker than you. Is going to get leverage promotion for other competitors quicker than you even get a promotion or a higher wage, $1 a wage, a quarter higher. So yeah, like I said, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. You have to raise your hand if you know your stuff, if you've studied it, you know your shit. Raise your hand every single time. Bet on yourself. If you've studied it, you know it. Bet on yourself, Even if it's wrong, every time raise your hand. But also, on the book, it says that on the flip side, if you do it too much just to say something like, just say a solution before we even identify the problem all the time, then you're going to lose out on opportunities. I think 50 mentioned that. He mentioned it, that there was a guy he knew who used to do that. just raised his hand up all the time for no reason, and he had to talk to his mentor, his boss, Chris Lighty. Hey, don't bring this guy around, man. He's getting on my nerves. He just opens his mouth. He's smart and he knows his stuff on a lot of other areas, but he just likes to he's just doing too much, and you can lose out on an opportunity like that. Well, it's well over 30 minutes. I appreciate anyone who's watching this, even just a little bit. If you haven't, I'll really appreciate if you subscribed, commented, did all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.